Assalamu alaikum. If you are a Muslim who wants to be rich, this video is for you. Before you go on the journey of becoming rich, there's a few things you need to know, and nobody's gonna tell you. I will tell you them right now. Before I became a Muslim, I met 300 millionaires. Before I ever reverted to Islam, I had been on super yachts, I had been in the nicest hotels, the nicest restaurants, done all of the most luxurious things you could possibly imagine. All of the dunya success everybody would dream of, right? I met all the successful people, did all the things. Now, I don't say this to brag, may Allah protect me from evil eye. I say this to give you context. Because when I met all these millionaires, when I met all of these successful people, I noticed one thing. The majority of them were not happy. And we hear this all the time, rich people saying, oh, money doesn't make you happy. And you say, oh, well, you have the money. Well, no, I can tell you firsthand, probably about 75% of the people I met with $1 million or more net worth were not happy. So I started to look into this. Why are these people not happy? I realized many of them only have money. They had no family, they had no genuine relationships, they had no faith, they had no connection to God. And I looked at their life and I went objectively, would I want their life? And I said no. But the thing is, I've wanted money. I wanted to be successful. So what, am I just gonna give up money? No, I'm not saying that. Money is very important. I have money, I love money. I think money is good. I think Muslims should have more money. But what you shouldn't do is put money above your deen. Let me give you some context. So after meeting all of these very successful people, I then went and started traveling around in the Middle East. I went to Pakistan before this. And I met a bunch of people who were very poor, but had all of the other things. They had brotherhood, they had community, they had a connection to God. And what I immediately noticed was these people are much more happier than all of the people who have a bunch of money. So I compared their lives side by side. All of these millionaires who have the watches and all the fancy stuff versus these Pakistani people who have no money, but they have their deen and their family. Whose life would I rather have? I would rather have their life. But I started to think to myself, well, I still want to have money, right? We shouldn't have to pick one or the other, right? Islam teaches us balance. We should have both. Why can I not have both? So I asked my mentor this question, and he said, well, you can have both, but what you have to do is you have to make sure you chase the other things before you chase the money. I asked him, what does this mean? He told me that money amplifies who you are. He said, Canyon, if you right now are unhealthy, you have no connection with God, and you have no real friends, and you're greedy, and then you get rich, all of those qualities will be amplified. So now you're just gonna be an uber unhappy person, a very rich person who has no connection with God, and an even worse connection with God because that got amplified. But then he told me, Canyon, if you focus on building a connection with God, building good habits, building good routines, becoming healthy, getting a family, and then you get rich, all of those things will be amplified, right? And this is why the majority of people who are rich and have the other successes are usually not young kids. It's usually people who have had to go through a grind for a very long time. So my mentor, he's 45. He is a 9-figure entrepreneur. He's a boxer. He's a Muslim. He's got everything you could imagine. But when he was 25, he had no money. So some people might look at him and go, oh, he doesn't have the money. He's not successful. But what he was doing is he was building his character. So I asked him, okay, so at my age, I'm very young. Should I chase the money first or should I chase the character first? And he said, Canyon, you have to build your character before trying to get rich. There are levels of wealth, and wealth, the riches like money, dunya money, is the lowest level of wealth. The connection with God is the highest level of wealth. A good family is the second, a good brotherhood is the third, and your health is the fourth. And the lowest is actual money. But what I said to them, I said, well, I still want to be rich. And he said, that's completely fine. You can still chase money. But when you structure your days and when you structure what you're doing, the maximizing for money always has to come last. What comes before that is your prayers. What comes before that is your relationships. What comes before that is making sure you work out. Don't skip a workout so you can maximize a little bit of money. Now, if you had told me this 2 years ago, I would have pushed back on this and I would have been like, yes, everybody says this. So you might be pushing back on this a little bit right now, but I want to give you the context. A lot of these guys I've met, you would meet them day one and be like, they have the coolest life ever. I'll tell you about one guy. Let's say for the sake of this story, his name is John. I was just in Croatia, we were on some super yachts. It was amazing, it was an awesome experience. And there was one guy there, John. He has a Lamborghini. John has a Rolex. John is a millionaire. John doesn't have a family. John doesn't have a good connection with his previous family. John is not religious. John has a lot of money, but deep down is very sad. And if you spend your whole life chasing money, just trying to get rich, you will regret it at the end of the day. Not because you sacrifice your health, not because you sacrifice your family, but actually because Allah will not have put barakah on your journey. Will Allah bless your journey if you do not put Him first? No. And that is why this guy is unfulfilled, because he never put a connection with God first. So you, watching this right now, I want you to be successful. Being rich is fine. Build a business, learn skills. This is very good. But on your journey of doing this, make sure you never, never, never sacrifice your health, family, and connection with God to make more money. You cannot take your money with you in the afterlife. God bless.